Hello YouTubers, my name is Christian and welcome to the 50 Books for 2019 series. This is week 2 and we're going to be reviewing Vishen Lakhiani's book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. Let's dive in. Vishen Lakhiani is held as one of the most exciting and influential people in personal growth. His company Mind Valley is specializing in course and app development geared towards creating the new education revolution. I first became aware of Vishen's work having been introduced to his 6-phase meditation technique, and more on that later. The aim of this book is to teach individuals how to program themselves for success. Now, how do we define success? That's quite a difficult question. Especially in the West, we have cultures that idolize certain people and puts them on platforms which sort of unconsciously makes them into a meter for success. This can lead a lot of people towards chasing dreams that are not exactly individualized for their personal goals. Maybe to you, being successful is raising a beautiful family or being the best baker in your village. The point is here, success is an incredibly individualized thing. This book has a serious capacity to push you to think for yourself. There are various parts of the book that ask you to stop and consider what beliefs may be holding you back. The first couple of chapters are spent introducing us to the idea of rules. Now, rules is a term invented by Vishen, which is a combination of the word bullshit and rules. So bullshit rules are rules that have been put in place by people no smarter than you and I. Rules such as, in order to get a good job, you need to go to university, or to be happy, I need to marry and have children. Now, pursuing these goals in and of themselves are not good, but having our happiness depend on them is where we get into trouble. Now, what I liked about this book is that you can tell Lakhiani is incredibly interested in people and what sets their soul on fire. Lakhiani's goal is to revolutionize education, changing the way we view learning. And the way we learn currently puts a huge emphasis on the pursuit of intellectual goals, but there's very little to do with spiritual well-being, mental health, and how to make an impact on the planet. While reading Vishen's book, I took a look at my own goals and I started to realize that some of them, most of them in fact, were means goals. Now, what is a means goal? As we learn in the book, a means goal is a goal that is basically a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. For an example of a means goal is, I need to go to college so I can get a degree. I need to get the degree so I can get a good job. I need to get that good job so I can get the good house. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And we can start to see the problem here with means goals is that they're not ends in themselves. They don't fulfill you. They don't give you the drive to push ahead. Now, what we should be setting instead is end goals. Now, end goals are goals that in pursuing them, we find our own reward. An example of an end goal is to be happy at work or learning to speak another language. An end goal is usually discerned by following one's heart and one's feelings. In order to find out what your end goal is, you need to do some deep soul searching. Now, this book helps you do that by asking you 3 key questions. Now, question number 1 is, what experiences do I want to have? So, if time weren't an issue, you didn't have to seek anyone's permission, what kind of experiences would your soul crave? The second question is, how do you want to grow? Personal growth can happen in many areas of your life. Think about your health and fitness, think about your intellectual life, think about your social life. How would you like to grow in these areas? Now, the final question is, how do you want to contribute? Ask yourself, if all my dreams for the future came true and I could have what I wanted, what would I give back? This book encourages us to answer these questions for each of the individual categories. Now, I'm going to run through the 12 categories really quickly. Your love relationships, your friendships, your adventures, your environment, your health and fitness, your intellectual life, your skills, your spiritual life, your career, your creative life, your family life, and your community life. This book is more than just a goal-setting program, though. It offers some valuable insights into some of the mindset shifts that are needed to become more successful. Now, when I say successful, please don't be turned off. By what I mean is success on your own terms, success defined by you, as we discussed earlier. There are many people struggling to make successes of themselves, but they're doing it using someone else's model. Now, what I found to be most valuable in this book is the tools it provides you with, not only breaking free from rules that no longer serve you, but in reshaping and reimagining your life in its entirety. I found this book incredibly useful. I used it to set goals of my own. If you have any New Year's resolutions, I would advise checking if they are means goals or ends goals. So ask yourself, am I following this goal in order to get to somewhere else? If so, you're probably following means goals. If the pursuit of the goal is the reward itself, then you're probably looking at an ends goal. The book ends with Lakiani's own developed meditation practice called the 6-phase meditation. Now, I was first introduced to this about a year ago, and I have been using it ever since, on and off admittedly, but this year I've dedicated myself to being a bit more consistent with it. Now, the 6-phase meditation is a very interesting use of imagination, creativity. It's not simply sitting there and being still like a lot of meditation can be. If you are someone who struggles with meditation and who finds it difficult to simply sit and be alone with your own thoughts, I advise you to try out the 6-phase meditation. There'll be a link in the description below. Try out the 6-phase meditation. Let me know how you get on. It'd be fantastic to hear how you guys get along with it, because I've been trying it myself. So let me know how you get on. Now, I had some difficulty meditating when I first started the practice, but I found, because as I have quite an active imagination, so I think this practice is incredibly useful for those of you who think that your mind is perhaps too busy to meditate. So all in all, this book is a bit of a roller coaster ride, full of sharp turns and unexpected dips into my own mind. I would highly recommend this book to any productivity junkies out there, people who love to get organised, and anyone looking to start improving their own lives. Well, that's it for this week's book review. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week we will be taking a look at Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. Thank you so much. Oh, Lordy Lou. How many minutes do you reckon that'll be? This is on? Okay, one more. Vishen Lakiani is held as the all about.